Get the latest Zacks research, analysis, and rankings on exchange-traded funds in Exploring ETFs. Going to get a little bit of an update now on the ETF space with our ETF research director, Nina Mishra. And as far as an update on the space is concerned, it sure seems to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that the trend in ETFs so far this year is that people are still flocking to them.
Yes, that's absolutely right. People are pouring a lot of money in exchange-traded funds and exchange-traded notes, but the number of products has gone down this year.
Really?
Yeah, January was pretty slow in terms of launch. Only 5 products were launched in January. February, the activity has picked up, and 7 products have been launched this month so far, and many more are planned to be launched later this month. But 19 products have been liquidated this year so far.
Wow.
So the assets under management continue to grow, and many products thrive. Some manage to survive, but some fail.
Yeah, and with the amount that have failed so far this year, I mean, is that really progress? Can you really say that that's progress in the ETF space?
Yes, if the products which are either too risky or too complicated to understand or too expensive, or if they are not following the right strategy, they just don't become popular with the investors, and that is why they fail to survive.
Okay, so even though those have failed, ETF trends so far up for the year.
That's right.
As far as people putting money into them. All right, you've got an example of one here that is a success.
Yes, I have examples of 2 ETFs which I think are going to succeed this year because of their right strategies. So the first one which I like is PIMCO Foreign Currency Strategy ETF.
Okay.
The ticker is FORX.
And what's the investment case for this one?
It invests in currencies of other developed as well as emerging countries.
Okay.
The investment case is that many people are talking about currency wars this year because the central banks of most of the developed countries, they are easing aggressively, or what some people say that they are in a race to debase their currencies. They are devaluing their currencies. So the currencies of countries where the interest rates are still high, they are appreciating, and their central banks are in fact finding it very difficult to put a lid on that appreciation. According to PIMCO, dollar is going to be on a secular decline trend after 30 years of global dominance.
Wow.
And this year in particular, because of aggressive easing by Fed and muddle through growth, there may be pressure on the US dollar. Now, the US investors are typically heavily invested in the US dollars.
So what are the product details on this PIMCO currency ETF?
Yeah, so this invests in many currencies as well as local currency denominated securities of, as I said, emerging as well as developed countries. The currency allocation is decided based on strategic view of PIMCO, long-term view on those currencies. Currently, the fund has largest exposure to Canada, Norway, Russia, and Mexico. Charges a reasonable expense ratio of 65 basis points, considering that it is actively managed. And so this may be an interesting choice for investors who are heavily invested in US dollars and want some hedge against US dollar decline.
All right, and then you've got a preferred securities ETF.
Yeah. Preferred securities are an interesting asset class. They are sort of a hybrid between common stock and bonds. They are usually less volatile than common stocks and pay much juicier yields, around 5.5 to 6%. In fact, the Bank of America Merrill Lynch Preferred Securities Index has yielded an average of more than 7% during the last 10 years, compared to just 5% for the investment-grade bond yields.
Okay.
So this product could be an interesting choice for investors who are looking for around 5.5 to 6% yield. They do not want to take on too much risk. And this is also an actively managed product, so it will be able to respond quicker to any change in market conditions. And Stonebridge Advisors, they are known experts in the field of preferred and hybrid securities. They are sub-advisor to this fund, slightly expensive with 85 basis point expense ratio.
Okay, do you own either of these two?
No.
Check out other ETF information and interesting articles pertaining to ETFs on the ETF section of our website, zacks.com. All you need to do is go to the home page and scroll down that page until you get to the ETF module. Click on any of those story links and it'll take you right to that section of our site if you're not there already watching this video. With Nina, I'm Terry Ruffalo.